Oh,
Why?
what the fuck? For once, we're not actually recording
And
a video.
yeah, there's no
What
video.
the fuck?
What
There's
the
no
fuck?
video to go.
No
Oh
video.
no.
Oh shit, we lost all the footage. We gotta restart,
Ah,
guys.
fuck ass.
So what are we calling this? Like the Astrocast?
Yeah, I guess we'll just call it the Astrocast. Let me Google it and see if it's fucking taken.
I bet it's taken by some fucking astronomy fucking.
First thing that comes up is Astronomy Cast. Astrocast. Astrocast is the name of a network of nanosatellites. What?
The
Huh.
fuck?
Okay.
Astrocast.tv? Fuck, we're gonna have to rename it.
Astrology at Astrocast.
We'll figure out
Horoscopes.
something. We'll figure out something. So I suppose at this point we're already actually like we're already like
Yeah, I
we're
guess.
into it. So
Yeah, so
fucking
so we're trying out a podcast, I guess. And
yeah, we're
this
gonna do it.
this is outside of our normal realm of how we do things.
We decided to try this because we talk about stuff like this so much. Like this podcast is for like
Let me get some
gaming
water.
news and stuff like that. So we talk about this stuff so much on the show. We thought we might as well just turn it into a podcast.
Yeah, because there's so many
Because-
topics that we don't reach because we just don't have the time to talk about those topics, or we're too
And there's
busy getting
also-
shot or something.
There's also shit we talk about outside of the show that doesn't end up in the show, and I think it'd be nice
Oh,
to have
yeah.
our opinions. Like
I
out
don't
there.
think we ever talk about. We're probably gonna talk about is like
We talk
we
about
ta-
so much shit.
I don't think we've even talked about the NX.
We talked about like once on like Interstellar Rift, I think.
I think that was between episodes. It may have been in the episode. I can't remember off
I
the top of my
don't
head,
know.
but we've most certainly haven't really talked about GTA other than I don't even think we talked about it while playing. I think we may have touched a little bit because we were playing for that update.
Oh yeah.
But as for like a bunch of the other stuff, like we haven't even played GTA in so long that we haven't even.
We played it like the other day and like fucked with some randos who decided to like deathmatch us.
Yeah, we haven't played since.
God,
Uh,
that was hilarious though, because they had like there was just these two fucking assholes just trying to kill us for no reason. We ended up just like overpowering them by all three of us having a tank.
Yeah, because they we were just like chilling. We were running around
Like
on a freaking
GTA.
yeah. We were
Fucking-
in the whatever film studios those are supposed to be.
Yeah.
I think they're
fucking
supposed
Solomon
to be.
Richards or whatever. I don't know.
I'm pretty sure they're supposed to be Universal Studios.
Yeah. But basically what happened, we got on, and for whatever reason, I decided to start pissing off the cops because Armando went AFK, and so I found this really like good spot for
I had to go to the bathroom, I believe.
yeah, I found this like really good spot for like having a shootout against the cops. Like I didn't die, I didn't take any damage at all, but then this guy shot a rocket near where I was, and I guess the blast damage or whatever killed me. And I was like, I had like 5 stars. I was like totally killing it against the police. And then this guy fucking starts shit.
Yeah, because I got back and I'm like, hey, there's like some fucking players after us, and you're just like,
Yeah,
what?
I didn't even realize. I
You're
thought
like,
that they
you're
were just like
what players?
in the
I'm
crossfire.
I'm like the one that's climbing up on the building, and the other one that has a tank.
I
like-
didn't realize. I thought they were just in the crossfire or some shit like that.
And like I was AFK, and they were starting to mess with us. We weren't even doing anything. We really weren't even doing anything. We were just kind of sitting there. And
Like, I'm surprised you didn't die, because I'm pretty sure when you went AFK, we had cops after us.
Yeah.
I don't know how. I think you like somehow lost them just by standing still.
I probably, yeah, no, I did. I walked up into the corner, and they couldn't find me because they were distracted by you.
Oh, right, yeah. But like this place I was at was like really high up, and it was like a really tiny place, so they had to climb like a single ladder to get up there. But by the time they're at the top, you can like just shoot them, and the helicopters have like nowhere to like drop down like SWAT team people on you. So um basically you're just like untouchable when you're up there. I definitely want to go on and try that some other time. We should do
Yeah,
that on a video, I think.
that'd be kind of fun. But
But
speaking of GTA, there's a new update coming out
bikers,
in the
biking
4th,
clubs,
I believe.
who knows? I
Uh
haven't been paying attention.
but yeah, it looks interesting. Here, let me bring up Newswire, read off some of the
It's
stuff.
it's it's basically orgs but better,
Yeah,
from what
it's
it
like
sounds like.
from some of the rumors and some of the leaks from it is apparently it's just gonna be orgs, except
But you can have 8 people,
yeah, except you could have 8 people now. They're
which
also
immediately wins
adding
us
in
over.
a bunch of like biker related stuff.
But yeah, so basically they're adding like bennies for bikes.
There's also the one thing that I didn't know, which I think is really cool, is the inclusion of being able to use melee weapons on motorcycles now.
Oh, cool! I
Oh,
didn't hear about that one.
me
And
neither.
That's
it
cool.
doesn't apply to just choppers, it applies to all the vehicles apparently.
Cool. So we could do road rash in GTA.
Pretty much. Let me see. There was another detail that somebody I forget what his name is.
Can I say one thing about this
He's a
though?
so let me finish this thought real fast.
Yeah. Okay.
Is there's this guy who does a lot of like he rips apart the game files to find new stuff in all the GTA Online updates.
Mm-hmm.
And apparently there's going to be a new, or the rumor is that there's going to be a new like a co-op mission,
Ooh.
like or game mode, like a co-op game mode. I'm speculating that it's going to be some sort of like biker club versus mode, because the way
Sounds
the
neat.
game files are talking about it, it makes me think that because it's you can't start it without having enough players, as in like you can't go into the game mode unless you have enough friends to play. Not so much that you can't. Basically what it's saying is that you can't join the game mode solo, even if it is matchmaking against a bunch of other players. You can't do it solo because it's supposed to be, or at least I'm speculating that it's supposed to be a bunch of your crew that's going in there and teaming up against other crews, which I think would be a neat concept for bikers.
Mm-hmm. What I was gonna say is, I think we talked about this before when the update actually just got announced, but um, and by that I mean like we spoke on Steam. We didn't do that on an episode or anything, but I think somewhere there was some mention of this actually being like well, this in the organizations that they did. There was some talk about this being a revival of the factions, which is what GTA Online was meant to be originally, like cops and robbers sort of thing.
Yeah, yeah, I've definitely been feeling that too. I definitely feel like they're definitely starting to bring back some of the old faction stuff that was originally going to be in GTA Online. Actually,
Yeah.
now that I think about it, I wouldn't be surprised, knowing Rockstar, if this is one of those things where it would, because it was pretty late in development when they changed things. I wouldn't
Yeah,
be
they like changed GTA Online like literally like a month or two before they announced it.
I wouldn't be surprised if that was purely a business change, not a technical reason.
Well, I mean,
I wouldn't be
the
surprised.
faction. Sorry,
I mean, you're gonna talk about how it was broken and whatnot, but I wouldn't
I
be
wasn't actually.
because
Keep
it was
interrupting
kind of
you.
broken, because I've seen some of the change logs, and I've seen some of the animations in game, and I think it's gonna be more so. I think it's I'm just speculating here, but I think they may have done what they've done with previous updates, possibly all updates to our knowledge, is they've taken the content and kind of chopped it up and instead of releasing it at launch, they decided to kind of release it across the entire life of GTA Online. Um, with obviously it probably wasn't all 100% done by launch, but
Oh yeah, of course.
I'm sure they probably took a bunch of this content and instead of just completely canning it or completely putting it in, they've decided to kind of spread it across the game's entire life, which is,
But
from a business aspect, is a way better way to go about it.
the one thing though is that clearly the way it functions now is completely different to how it was back then. Because originally it was supposed to be more like if you've ever played Multi Theft Auto, which is like a multiplayer mod for San Andreas, it's that was like completely community hosted. Most of the servers hosted cops and robbers game mode where you could like have a job and like commit crime and be a police officer, that sort of thing. That's originally how GTA Online was going to be, is that the players would be police officers backed up by NPCs, and other players could choose to be criminals. But clearly that got canned, and I think this is a remnant of that, but I think they've completely reworked the idea to fit what they launched, because I don't think they could change it to be like that um at this point in time, because that's too much of a like change in how the game plays.
I think I wouldn't rule it out, but I think it'd be a stretch, definitely.
Yeah,
But I wouldn't
definitely.
rule it out. I wouldn't be surprised if they made such a huge change. Because the thing is if they add in like cops as a choice to play, the community will fucking explode, and so many people will get on GTA.
Yeah.
Because a huge change like that
Although
always brings people back to the game.
although one of the things I'm starting to doubt is it wasn't really a rumor, it was something that was actually announced, but it was really hush hush quiet sort of thing. I'm starting to doubt that they're actually shutting down GTA,
Yeah,
or at least not in the same context we thought it was.
maybe.
Because because
It
it just
may.
seems kind of weird that would put the time in to develop these features, which seem to be with the intent of increasing the longevity of its lifetime, and
See,
then shutting it down. That doesn't seem like a smart business move, even though that's what we thought they might be doing.
yeah, since the last time that I had that we talked about this, there actually has been major changes, which is one of those changes is GTA Online's been making a lot more money since the last time we talked about it. Um, and
Ooh.
obviously, different earnings causes them to change up the way they go about their business. Um, because I guess since then there's been a huge like spike in like shark cards and stuff, shark card sales. But I don't even want to get started on shark cards. I hate them so much.
I fucking I think the only major thing that's really turned us off of GTA recently has been the organization thing. Was really cool idea, really bad execution, because like the thing is like great, you can make lots of money, but that's totally dependent on on hoping other players don't fuck with you, because it's incredibly easy to fuck over someone else and lose so much money.
Yeah,
And
which will, like, if you lose that, you're just gonna lose all motivation to play the fucking game.
yeah, I think one of the things I think I might have mentioned before on the show, or maybe not, I can't quite remember, but what they should have done is like what they do in GTA is when an organization is doing something like getting cargo or whatever, the game actively tells other players to go and attack them, which I don't think is right. I think it should have it be like on the minimap and like give you the option to go fuck with them if you want, but it shouldn't like direct you to do it,
Yeah,
because that's what a lot of people do. They just listen to the instructions and they don't like actually think about what they're doing. Because players who intercept deliveries by the organizations, they get fuck all in terms of
oh yeah,
compensation.
you get like nothing. You get like $2,000 and like ammo.
Like basically, you'd be better off doing your own delivery than fucking up someone else's delivery. It's just so much.
It's just such a bad payoff. Um, I talked about this with MK a couple of times, but we were playing Fantasy Star Online too, and one of the things I noticed is that they had a reward system essentially for helping out other players. For every action you do to help out other players. And I think that's one thing that's missing from GTA. Like, yeah, you can argue it's Grand Theft Auto. You're not supposed to be helping people, but there should be more incentives to help people because
and work
there's
together.
absolutely no incentives to help other people
Yeah,
other than possibly getting a small cut of money.
and I
there's
mean,
no
that's the other thing that really ticked me off about the organizations is that it's set up in such a way that the money split is always in favor of the CEO,
yeah, or the host or
which is
whoever it
the
is.
worst because like in most cases organizations ideally will be a group of friends who want to earn money together and they'll work together in an organization, but they'll do the stuff and then only one person out of that group is going to get the majority of the money, which is really fucked up. I
Yeah.
mean, the CEO should be able to choose like what distribution is like.
Yeah, there's a lot of like one of the things that I wish was something that GTA had though, aside from just money distribution, with the good player behavior incentives. The current incentives I'm gonna address right now. The current incentives is getting like what is it like?
You get like money,
You get money occasionally, and
and it's like
the
it's like $2,000 like every like whatever the fuck it is. It's
and
nothing.
the not only is it nothing, but the incentive isn't really an incentive at all because the incentive is in order to break that incentive, you have to do a ridiculous amount of nonsense. You have to either one be hacking, two get caught cheating, or three blow up like hundreds of fucking cars, which is really really difficult and already has way too many negative effects attached to it already to where you probably wouldn't even reach that point.
Mm-hmm.
And you know the consequences are too low uh for just random death matching, and there's just not enough incentives to go and help other players. Because I think the game would be a lot more enjoyable if there was occasionally that one player who actually went and helped people instead of just everyone being a goddamn sociopath.
Yeah.
But you know, sociopaths are the best. Ah, funny.
Like going back to Phantasy Star has this system where every time you like heal someone or you revive them or you help them on a mission, or they have a system where you can call a bot version of them in to do missions. You get every time you do something that interacts with other players in a positive light, you get fun points, and these fun points are used in a store that has a lot of that store has a bunch of stuff that is exclusive to fun points, and there's also like other stuff you can get with it too. So I think it'd be cool if like GTA had like some sort of like, I don't know, maybe clothes or maybe certain vehicle parts, or hell even eventually you could work your way up to a shark card possibly. I'm
Hmm.
not saying that it would be. I wouldn't say that these, we'll just call them fun points for the sake of them existing in Fantasy Star. These fun points would not be. It would not be a small amount to get like shark cards. It'd be an astronomical amount.
You'd have to like actually be fucking.
But just having that option there will drive players to want to
Mm-hmm.
to actually help people because that's more fun points for them, which means a little bit closer to getting a shark card, which means a
Fucking
little bit
free money.
closer to a little bit closer to getting that stuff.
Who doesn't want free money? Like seriously.
I want free money.
Hey, I want free money too. Get out of my way. I'm gonna go fucking get some free
Yeah,
money.
it's unfortunately something that's heavily missing from it, which is surprising
Yeah.
because a lot of like multi Theft Auto or San Andreas multiplayer servers actually have this kind of thing. Um, which I think is kind of funny that GTA Online doesn't have anything like that. It also could be because they're not really used to making online games.
Yeah. I think that's been our argument for a lot of GTA
Yeah,
Online's problems. Is the fact that Rockstar
typically kind of has like tacked on multiplayer to their games.
Yeah, like GTA 4's multiplayer was literally like a free roam version with like multiple players that could just like deathmatch, and that was like basically it.
Oh yeah, not to mention that game only had one spawn point. Because when you would spawn, it would just spawn you in that freaking like hobo boathouse, and that
I
was
don't
like
remember spawning there.
when you first spawn into multiplayer, that's where it sends you.
Oh right, yeah.
Obviously, if you get far enough away of it, it just spawns you in random places. But I think if you fall out of the map, I think it sends you back there too. But whenever anyone
Incredible.
started a match, that's where they would end up. So there would always be like people PvPing there if you joined a public lobby. Also Red Dead Redemption's multiplayer is very weird. I don't know if you ever played it.
I've never played Red Dead anything.
So
no.
the if you think GTA 5 has a steep like level curve, like Red Dead is like way steeper because Red Dead's harder to do stuff in. There's not like it's in Red Dead it's way harder to get around. Not to mention that, like literally you start with just a donkey, which makes it really hard, and then like almost no weapons. So getting around is really hard to begin with, and it takes like a ridiculous amount just to even get a couple of levels. Yeah, I think that's all we have for GTA.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How about you talk about the NX?
Oh, fucking NX. So I sent this a blab a message this morning, and
yeah,
I said that the hype bubble finally popped, and what I meant by that was so I'm sure everybody knows about the Nintendo NX. Everyone wants to.
If you don't, you should probably just
Well,
look it up.
if you don't, you're in the same boat as the rest of us because none of us know what the fuck is going on. So the issue is that they've been talking about it. We already have a release month, which is in March, which coming straight from Nintendo multiple times. They've said it's going to release in March. Not to mention that they pushed Zelda back to March to be a launch title.
Yeah, and we know that one of the new Sonic.
Sonic isn't.
Which Sonic game's going to be on?
It's the new 3D Sonic game, but that Sonic game isn't coming till like fall or like early winter.
But still, we know that's going to be on the NX. Like we know we know like games are going to be on the NX. We know when the NX is supposed to come out. Like
developers keep talking about it like crazy. Currently, one of the things that's being constantly teased for it is Beyond Good and Evil 2. Which I don't know if you're aware, but Ubisoft is like super close with the NX for whatever reason.
It's just ridiculous because we know all these things, but we don't know what the NX is.
Yeah, there's what was that? There's a racing game that's coming out on like everything, and it's even on the NX as well. But so the hype bubble, like officially, I want to say officially popped, like I would say either this morning or last night.
What do you mean by that? I don't quite understand what that term means.
Like, if you think in the context of like how like stocks and economy and stuff, that kind of stuff works, it's kind of the same thing where like it's hit its peak and now it's just dropping. The hype is just dropping like crazy. And like I used to see like tons and tons more people on this. And every day I'm now seeing people like, oh, I'm just no longer interested now. It's just like they've been, way too like secretive about it.
Yeah. Fucking Nintendo, I swear.
Because
I mean, for all we know, NX is probably gonna be the best fucking console of this generation. But that's keep withholding information.
That's personally the only thing that'll keep me interested in Nintendo after this. The the 3DS will probably be my last Nintendo system unless the NX really fucking blows people away. Or if it's this hybrid rumor. If it's the hybrid, then I'm gonna get it. But
if it's the hybrid, I'm definitely gonna get it because I'm very interested in a console that is
because it's got
both.
it's from the announced titles, it's got good titles.
Yeah,
But if it's just another home console, why should I bother? I already have a Wii U,
like
so I can play
this is
Zelda.
yeah, this is the thing. Like,
And I have a PC, I
I
can play all these other games.
yeah, like this is the thing. If it's the hybrid thing, that like completely knocks like the fucking ball out of the park for both the home console and the uh portable market because it's both.
Yeah,
They don't have to produce a new like DS system or a new like Game Boy system because they will just have one thing which works for both the handheld and uh fucking home console markets. And the thing about that is um like I think that enough would sell it. I don't think
oh,
they'd need
most certainly.
to
They wouldn't need to market very hard for it if it was actually a
they
hybrid.
wouldn't need to boast like graphical prowess or anything because it would just be like you can have this both at home on the big screen and in your hands, and that's like a huge selling point.
Well, one of the things that they have boasted the graphics. They said that Breath of the Wild looks better on the NX than it does on the Wii U. I don't know
Well,
how to
then
take that because looking better doesn't necessarily mean it has more power, but it could really be
yeah,
either or. It could just literally mean that Breath of the Wild's more optimized and is able to
maybe
push out a little more graphics because of it. For all we know, it has the same amount of power, which I think would be fantastic if it even had the same amount of power as the Wii U.
yeah, because at this point I think the biggest thing for a console from Nintendo at this point is like um flexibility, and we want it to be like a good platform for games. And what I mean by flexibility is like it shouldn't be locked into like a specific type of game. Like with the Wii U, they had backwards compatibility for Wii stuff. Like they had the Wii Mote support still, and I can see them dropping it for the NX because I feel like the NX is the next step forward, and they're completely dropping like the whole Wii idea.
Yeah, I don't think because they said it's not the Wii U and it's not a 3DS. I think they're gonna drop all backwards compatibility on that front and switch completely to like emulation and stuff.
Mhm.
Um,
Yeah.
and I'm really hoping that that's the case because one of the things that I would hate the NX to suffer from is from them having to step back because take a couple steps back because of because of their previous consoles. Because
Mm.
the thing is that they really want it to actually be different. They'll have to completely drop backwards compatibility for those two
Yeah.
systems because that restricts them to it literally restricts them to having to need two screens and touchscreen,
Mm.
which all the
Um.
all Wii U games and all 3DS games support by default.
I think the one thing we know for sure about the NX is it's probably going to carry over the controller with the screen on it from the Wii U because that is actually a really good design.
Yeah,
It's
I
like
mean,
all the mock-ups we've seen, all like fake mock-ups have all had that. So
yeah, the patents have had it too, but we'll see how that turns out. Um, I wouldn't be surprised if that actually is the case, but I'm not really holding on to that specifically because
yeah.
because they said it's way different. So we'll actually see if it's actually way different or not. Uh,
Um, I
Abs-
think there's one thing about the NX that's always confused me is the fact that they've had all these great titles come out on the Wii U, like Smash Brothers, Mario Kart 8, and Mario Maker, obviously, and they're like suddenly out of nowhere, like almost immediately after these games have come out, like literally like 1 or like 2 years after the games have all come out, they're dropping support for its home console, and it's like what?
well, I explained this. Let me actually bring this up. Uh, the, There's I'm trying to find this source, but there's a here it is. You can actually get onto the investors page because it's public for
Mhm.
Nintendo, and oh man, if you want to see sales data, oh my gosh. So the Wii U, do you want to know how many units it sold?
How many units?
13.02 units.
I assume that's million,
Yeah,
because I'm pretty sure they haven't sold just
yeah, 0.2
13 and
million.
a bit fucking units.
13.02 million units. Do you want to know
That's a
how?
lot.
Do you want to know how little that is?
That's like how little?
Well, I'm gonna list off the 3DS, the regular DS, and the Wii. So the 3DS sold 59.79 million units.
Oh,
The Wii sold 101.63 million units. The regular DS 154.02 million units.
that's a lot of units.
The only thing that comes anywhere close to being as low as the Wii U is the GameCube for 21.74 million units.
And even that's more than the Wii U.
Yeah, and not to mention that their software sales are also really low. They have the lowest software sales across everything. Like nothing even comes close to as low as the Wii U. Wii U's has
It's
been
just
their worst selling console.
it's kind of just like a shame because Nintendo's gone from like this huge giant that does like really great stuff to just this.
Yeah, they've been a mess for a while now. And I think that's why so many people want to know about the NX so bad, because
Yeah.
things have been kind of subpar for a while. So I'm going to
Mhm.
address my concern with the 3DS. A lot of people probably won't agree, but the 3DS, which is kind of true, but it feels like it's generations behind what it should be. The fact that they still release games on it is shocking to me, and they haven't just moved on to the next thing. When did the 3DS come out?
I can kind of agree. 3DS came out like 2011, 2012, I think.
I remember I got it. MK and I both. We have the Ambassadors DS,
Ooh.
which is like what was like only like but like a couple months before they dropped the price or whatever.
Yeah.
Um. Oh yeah, it was apparently less than 6 months after release. Apparently, according to this. So yeah, it came out in here. It came out March 27th, 2011, and
Um.
it still feels like it, nothing feels upgraded, and the fact that they're still doing stuff now, it doesn't feel any newer. Like
Yeah. They
everything
released
feels
like,
like a generation behind.
and then they tried to release the like new 3DS bullshit, which was just like
Like
what they should have done initially.
yeah, um,
That
the
should have been the launch of the 3DS.
like I like the new 3DS. I just don't like there's like a point to where it's just like, oh, this is really cool, but it's not like, you know, $200
Like,
cool.
the thing is, the new 3DS was basically just an upgraded version of the 3DS, which they might as well just marketed. They might as well have just marketed it as its like own new thing instead of calling it new 3DS. And they probably could have dropped the 3D element because I'm pretty sure that's like one of the like least
Yeah,
appealing parts of
they
the
have
3DS.
actually with the 2DS they dropped 3D. The reason why they kept
Yeah,
3D
but
for the
it's
new
like
one is that because they completely redid how 3D works in the new 3DS, and it works a lot better.
right, but it's
The
still not like something you would like. It's still not something I would see myself using just because it's there.
I use it every so often on my DS, but I feel like I would use it more on the new 3DS. So, but my
Hmm.
issue with the new 3DS is this. Here in the US, they've only released the the XL.
Right.
Uh except on special occasions where they release the regular sized version. Thing is that MK and I both don't really care for the big one, and we were actually really excited for the small one when it got announced. The thing is that these small versions only come in special bundles, so they cost more than just the base, console itself. Um, and also not to mention they're always exclusive to like Walmart or Target, so they're very hard to get your hands on,
Yeah.
because they're very
Fucking
scarce.
I I originally wasn't gonna get another handheld Nintendo console because um last so my history with Nintendo goes like this. Like when I was younger, I got GameCube when I was growing up, and then I got a DS when it came out, and I got the DS Lite when that came out because it had a backlight, like a
Yeah,
decent backlight. But then after I moved to the United Kingdom, I stopped bothering because the main reason I actually ever had handhelds is because I used to ride a bus to school when I was a kid. Um, but when I moved, I didn't like actually have a reason to like because I didn't ride the bus anymore, I guess. So I didn't really ever have any time I could justify playing because if I came home, I had like an actual like home console or a PC to like come home and play games on. So I never finished like Pokemon Diamond because I moved before that happened, and I didn't like even bother like knowing about 3DS until it was relevant to me. Like I didn't want a 3DS until I found out there was a new Animal Crossing game out, and that I still play like every day because I like it. That's the only title I have on the 3DS besides Pokemon. What was it? But I haven't even finished that game because I don't know. I just haven't had the time. But like Animal Crossing, it's like one of the only titles I think has like been worth it on the 3DS.
yeah. The Animal Crossing is fucking fantastic. One of my other issues with the 3DS is it creaks. It's
God, fucking
you
yeah,
you
it
can
does.
literally slightly twist it and it creaks. The build quality on the original 3DS is awful, which I don't understand
Yeah,
because the build quality on the DS Lite and the regular DS is so solid and fantastic. And then here comes the 3DS, which just seems like cheap plastic.
it just shits all over the floor when you try to open it.
Um, hell, mine the plastic is so cheap on it. Mine actually came with a scratch screen.
Jeez.
The screen is scratched literally from itself.
Um,
The
I was
the
like, sorry.
the bottom screen is actually scratched onto the top screen, unfortunately, which really
What the fuck?
sucks.
So, I've held a DS XL, and unfortunately, I don't own an XL. But the build quality between the XL and
Oh,
the
it's a
like
ridiculous
standard 3DS
difference.
is like I've held one, and I'm like, shit, I want an XL purely because its build quality is better.
Yeah, that's one of the major things for me.
Like
The screens are a little bit bigger too on the regular version as well.
yeah, but like the thing is with the XL, it's not just the build quality, but like the 3DS, the 3D switch like snaps, so you don't
Yeah.
like accidentally like push it up and shit. It's like just all the stuff just feels so much better.
Yeah, it's definitely built a lot better. But
Like,
I
why
kind
didn't
of
they
want
just release that as like the actual
I
console?
think it'd be only fair if we brought up their competitor, which released the same year, is the PS Vita.
Yeah,
The PS Vita has like has full on like PS3, basically almost PS3 titles. Like they have like full on like huge cutscenes, all these crazy stuff that you'd expect from like any AAA game.
the fucking
But
it's
on the
like
handheld,
a home console. It's like
it feels like I've seen it. It definitely seems more like a home console. It's definitely that the Vita I think definitely bridges that gap between console and handheld. because the DS just feels, a lot of the games feel this way too. They just feel kind of dumbed down, really cheap, you know, really bad anti-aliasing, which is
Yeah,
just, I mean, it's bad because it doesn't exist
yeah.
on the
Can,
DS, because
can
the
I
DS
just
is just,
interject for a second?
yeah, sure.
So, did you ever have a GameCube?
Yes, obviously. I had like
Um,
multiple.
yeah. Okay. So my question for you is, did you ever have that thing? Like I don't know if this was just me, but they had like a thing for the GameCube where you could take it into your car and you could plug it into the car to power it, and you could like a screen on the back of a fucking
I
seat in the
didn't
car.
have it for the GameCube. I had it for the PlayStation 1.
Oh, I had that for the GameCube, and like that shit is like comparable to how the Vita is. I've never had a Vita, but based on how you're describing it, it's like that's the same sort of thing.
Yeah, except the Vita's easier to carry around.
And it's actually portable. You don't have to plug that in, but it's the
The
same sort of thing. You can get that same quality, but like in your fucking car.
Yeah, the Vita is definitely, not to mention the Vita has had a lot of like PS2 ports to it and PlayStation 1
Mm,
ports, and also it can emulate PS1 games. Um, there's a lot of like, it's also got a way huger library. So I'm gonna have to talk about this. The 3DS has like the shittiest library of games next to the Wii U.
yeah,
Because majority of its big games are like, Monster Hunter, Pokemon, and Animal Crossing. Pretty much just all first party titles. The third party titles are either kind of I don't really either care for them, or they're on PC. So why bother playing it on the DS when I could play it on my big ass,
yeah,
nice monitor? Um, like the 3DS is like library is a joke. It really is, because there's not very many games that I even play on it that even require two screens, or
yeah. I
3D.
mean,
It's just like it's a
fucking,
huge, the whole thing's a huge gimmick, which is just I never use it.
fucking with Animal Crossing, they had Animal Crossing on the what the original DS, and it was the screens like flopped around. Like I think your inventory was on the top, and your like actual shit was on the bottom. Maybe
Yeah.
I don't know, but like the actual gameplay happened on the bottom screen, like
Yeah,
not just like
I
for
actually got a chance
display.
to play that, and it is very odd feeling trying to play it like that.
But the thing is that what that goes to show is that the Animal Crossing doesn't need the two screens.
No, it never.
You could easily have an Animal
I mean,
Crossing
to
game
be
without two
fair,
screens.
Animal Crossing originally technically came out on the N64, and then on the
Yeah.
GameCube, and then, you know,
And then Western culture found out. I was like, what the fuck is this? And it became
so,
extremely popular. But that's
yeah,
besides the point. Is like I think actually sorry to go off on a tangent, but I think Animal Crossing does work best on a handheld.
yeah. I think it works a lot better, because the thing is with Animal Crossing is that you get to go back to it daily, pretty much. You have to go
Yeah.
back to it constantly, and that's not very easy with a home console, because it's in a static location. Whereas if, like, for example, which
If you,
I'm gonna kind of go on speculation. I think one of the major games that Nintendo's gonna bring to mobile is gonna be Animal Crossing.
I'm pretty sure they already said they're making like an Animal Crossing app or something.
Yeah, because I think that it'd work really well with smartphones, honestly, because you
Yeah,
always
it
have
would.
them with you, and if you're out and about, you're just like, oh yeah, I'm just gonna pick up my phone, and play this right now.
Well, they already did basically a similar thing to like Tomodachi Life with Mitomo.
Yeah, a lot
So,
of these 3DS titles work better on phone than they do on the 3DS.
which
And
honestly, they could completely ditch 3DS because the quality of games you could literally just have them on your phone.
yeah, the unfortunately with the like quality of the games, the the games are just kind of scaled back way too much for what people would really want them to be. Occasionally, there's a couple good titles that are like, exclusively made for it, or they're like ports of older games. One of my favorite games that is ported to it is actually I have the case right here, is Tales of the Abyss. I absolutely love
The
Tales
fuck
games.
is?
Um,
I bet.
and this game isn't a game that this is a JRPG, a really fucking long JRPG, and it's kind of impressive that it's on the because it was originally a PS2 game, and they managed to actually get it to port to the 3DS, and it's actually kind of surprising that it even works on it, and it's like one of the best looking games on the 3DS. And those are the kind of games that I kind of like to see on the 3DS, but half the time we see basically games that are just like um they're more so like Pokemon where they don't have to have too much going on at once,
Yeah.
or they're like mini game based games, or they're smaller games, whereas Tales is like a very vast, like a very large JRPG that every battle has like a ton of stuff going on at once. I think Tales even actually I think Tales of the Abyss actually supports multiplayer on it as well. I'd have to check that out, but let me see. Does it say on the back of the thing? Nintendo just refuses to have the information here, but like that's one of the reasons why I like the Vita more, because the Vita has more stuff like that. They also have more, wiggle room to have bigger stuff like that.
Yeah.
Um, like the DS works is good for some people. But it's definitely not for everyone. And it's kind of a shame that the Vita doesn't do as well here. And hopefully by the end of the year, MK and I will both have Vitas.
Mm.
I might pick us up a Vita TV so we can do some recordings on it. Because the Vita
Sounds
TV
neat.
is just the Vita, but it's basically a home console version of it. Which would be nice for recording and stuff.
Yeah. Anyway, I just noticed we've been going for like an hour. And we were aiming to go for like what 50 minutes. So
Well, it's only been 47 minutes.
has it only been 47 minutes?
Yeah,
Well,
it's
maybe
only
we should talk about like just try and wrap up soon, I'd say.
yeah. Um, I just want to talk about like the Vita.
All right, cool. Don't
So
worry.
I kind of want to talk about the build quality of their launch versions. So the launch version of the DS obviously has terrible build quality. If you've ever had one in your
Yeah.
hands, you can just kind of squeeze it or wiggle it a little bit, and it will creak a lot. It feels like a really cheap, like the kind of thing that you'd find at like a dollar store, basically. Which is
Yeah.
a shame. Versus the Vita, uh, the original Vita's build quality, which is actually higher build quality than the slim version that they released later. And there's a couple of reasons for that. One of the major things is the OLED screen on the fat Vita, I guess we'll call it. Um, it's like a really really high quality screen. They dumbed down a lot of the quality of it for the slim version because I guess a bunch of people always say it's to keep cost of production down, but
Yeah.
apparently Sony said that they wanted to make a more casual version of the handheld, which makes sense because most people don't care for like super high quality screen or this, or crazy, tactile clicky keyboard nonsense. Not everyone cares about like super super crazy nonsense on a handheld.
Hmm. Yeah, I mean, all I want on a handheld is just something fun to play while I'm out and about, really.
What I really want, what I really want for my handheld, which believe it or not, we're still technically on the NX topic, which is us
Yeah.
finally going back to it and capping this off, is I really hope the NX is that hybrid, because this is one of the things why I really want a Vita, is I want a handheld where I can just chill, like I can go lay on the bed, or I can go chill somewhere else. I can even go outside if I fucking want to, and I could just sit there and play games, like any kind of game.
Hmm.
the Vita offers that because Vita has like a lot of PlayStation 2 games. Like they have the remakes of like Jack and Daxter and Ratchet and Clank and Sly Cooper and stuff like that. Those are the kind of games that I'd prefer to play on a handheld, not uh Puzzle Pirates Extreme 3D.
Yeah.
I don't want to play like dumbed it down games. I want to play an actual game, and I just want to take it somewhere and play it. Like
Yeah.
like some of these games just feel like on the DS just feel like they're too waste time aside from maybe like Pokemon. But the Vita has such a great selection of any kind of genre that you can throw out at. They even have
Yeah.
they even have tons and tons of different rhythm games. The DS has a couple of Miku games, but the Vita has way more. You know what? You know what's one thing that the Vita has that you never see on the DS? There's only been one of them on the DS. Is like the Dynasty Warriors games. Because they have Hyrule Warriors,
Yeah.
and you never see those kind of games on the DS, really. It feels. I don't know if you've ever played Hyrule Warriors, but it feels really weird on the DS.
I haven't ever played like Hyrule Warriors. I haven't played like any game from Nintendo that's been released since like Animal Crossing.
Yeah, that's fair enough.
Speaking of, I just want to interject again. I don't know what it is with Nintendo, but they've been releasing a lot of weird games recently. Like, earlier this year, they released like Pokken Tournament or whatever.
Yeah, that was actually, I mean they published it, but I think that was the Tekken team that worked on that.
Still though, it's like a game that came for the Wii U, I'm pretty sure.
Actually,
it came out.
To kind of explain a little bit about it, because it didn't actually come out on the Wii U. I mean, it did, but it didn't come out on the Wii U first. It was actually an arcade game originally, which was an arcade game in Japan, which is why that game kind of exists. Because I don't know if you know this, Blab, but the like arcade fighters, like fighting games in arcades, are still super popular in Japan, opposed to here, where arcades are, kind of hard to find. And that's why Pokken Tournament, like, I'm glad it got ported to Wii U, because from what I heard is that it was like they were on the fence of whether or not they were gonna actually port it to the Wii U. I'm glad they did. Not that I ever played it, but it's still an option to get.
Could I finish my point?
Yes.
That I was trying to make?
Yes.
So I was talking about so I spoke about Pokken Tournament. I was just like, Nintendo's been like publishing all these games recently that like I've heard people talk about them for like a week and then they just like disappear off the face of the earth.
Yeah, there's been way too much of that. Like I said, I never went around and got Pokken Tournament. Thing is that they're doing too many like throwaway games, and the issue is that they're not developing. I wouldn't say they're not developing for the long run, but they're like for Pokken Tournament, for example, that game was developed to be a Pokemon Tekken game, which is fun and great, but the thing is that once you're done and over with that, everyone's just gonna go back to Street Fighter 5 and Tekken.
Yeah, like the actual games.
Yeah, like the crowd's gonna go back to the bigger games. And part of that reason is that we're really waiting on like Metroid Prime and Zelda, or we're waiting for these main series titles, and they haven't given us anything since.
Anyways, I just wanted to finish up what I was gonna say lastly about the NX, and then we can try and wrap up.
Yeah.
I was gonna say that if the NX is the hybrid, I'm definitely gonna try and get one because I like having a home console, but I also like having something I can take around with me. And I don't want to buy two different things just to accomplish that.
Yeah. I only want if I get the NX, I hope it can be played completely from handheld, because I really don't care to have a console, because I play PC games all the time. We mainly do PC, like our entire setup is based around PC gaming, and which is one of the reasons why I have an Xbox One, because PC gaming and Xbox One actually go hand in hand. Because this is not everyone's opinion, but I actually bought the Xbox One because it's an all-in-one system, entertainment system, and it can play Halo also. But the like, I play most of my games on PC, but every so often we go boot up the Xbox to watch like anime or something.
Hmm.
And I really wanted to I like, if I want to play like a console games, I'm probably not going to, um because they're kind of a hassle to set up, and we don't really have a place for them in the house because we have, PCs set up all over the place instead. And I'd rather have like the NX be a handheld that I can just be like just chilling somewhere. I can go outside, I can go anywhere in the house and play it without having to be like, oh, I have to sit in front of this TV, which I don't want to do because I rather bring it somewhere else. Because I rather play, like I was saying, I didn't even get to finish my thing, is that I want to play fully fleshed out games on handheld. I no longer want to play dumbed down mobile versions of games on a handheld because that's the only option, when it's not, because the Vita exists and Nintendo needs to step it up with their next system. Because what we really want is or what I want, I should say, I just want it to be a good handheld. I don't even care if it's a hybrid or not. I want it to be a really, really good handheld that's capable of, you know, playing these bigger games. But we'll see if it's even a handheld. I'm still
Yeah.
on the fence of whether or not it's going to be handheld in any way, shape, or form, because the titles that have been on it are pretty big titles. And Nintendo's, going back to what you said, Nintendo's trend lately has been very, like, lots of throwaway games for the DS. Lots of, like, small titles or spin-offs. No main titles for a while. Like, when was even the last main title
Main title for what? Sorry.
for a Nintendo first-party game?
For Nintendo, like the last main title for like, would you count Mario? Fucking
I wouldn't count Mario Maker, no.
no. I mean, I think the last like main title game for Mario was probably like 3D World, which was like almost like a launch title. I think was it even a launch title for Wii U? I don't know.
I don't think it was a launch title. It may have been. They had a DS version of it as well, which was
Yeah, it was
it.
Mario Land, 3D Land.
But it just kind of hasn't been any. That was like a long time ago too. Like the Wii U got like no major games. I guess you could argue Smash Brothers and Mario Kart, but I still wouldn't really count those. Like Smash Brothers obviously is gonna survive on its own, but
Yeah,
all these other titles are just like, they make them and then they drop support for them like immediately. Like Smash Brothers was one of the few games where they continued to release content, but then like they got like 6 things out and then like, we're done doing this.
yeah, fucking, oh yeah, fucking. That's something that just came to mind. Splatoon, like they supported the game for a year and then they just fucked off.
Yeah, I heard about that.
Like the game still has an active community that play it like all the time, but they just decided to stop supporting it.
Yeah, that's. I always thought that was really weird how they've been going about that.
I just
I
don't know
think
what it
that
is. They've been
I think maybe Splatoon, either they really don't know how to handle that kind of game, or two, it's because of the NX, which we still don't know anything about.
but that is the thing, is like they've been releasing tons of games for the Wii U, which is basically a dying system, and they already are trying to kill it off, like by stopping manufacturing it for like EU
Yeah,
regions.
the only game anytime soon that I'm gonna get for it is probably Breath of the Wild, assuming I don't get an NX. But we will see how it turns out.
But I guess we'll see. Maybe it will be revealed tomorrow. Maybe it will be revealed never.
Maybe
it's
it'll
just
be
a
reviewed the day before this podcast goes up.
maybe it's a ruse.
Maybe the whole thing was a lie, and it was somebody who hacked Nintendo's Twitter and was just like, "Hey, we're releasing this shit in March."
But I think that was a nice way to start this podcast. I think. I mean, ideally we'd like to do more, but if people aren't interested, we won't.
Yeah, if you're we'll continue to do podcasts if people are interested. Currently we just kind of wanted to try a little thing different, something a little different.
Yeah.
And
because we do talk about this sort of stuff during episodes anyway.
yeah, it's just we don't dedicate a whole basically a whole hour to it. But I think that's been enough for now, and we'll see you guys Starside.
Yeah.
And
we'll see Starside.
MK smells like spaceships.
What the fuck? Don't be rude to MK.
MK deserves rudeness.
Anyways, see you Starside.
Yeah.